Gato Perro here, back with another review. Today we'll be doing a request by Asgard Spiderweb on the Marvel Select The Amazing Spider-Man 2012 movie figure. Alright, so here it is outside of his packaging, but I still have the original box, so I'm just going to show you really quickly what it looks like. Okay, so here we go with the standard Marvel Select packaging. It's never changed, but this time, you know what, obviously it has the Amazing Spider-Man logo at the bottom, really cool looking. And then we can just get Amazing Spider-Man on the side with the texture of the suit on the side as well. And then on the side we get a really cool picture of Spidey whipping, a lot of promotional art that we got using that same picture. And then we get a prototype of the figure with the base in there. And we get a read-up that I'm going to try to say without messing up. While visiting the science lab where his father once worked, Parker discovered an experiment involving insects and radiation. An irradiated spider bit him when he got too close, and overnight Parker discovered that he had undergone a metamorphosis, gaining strength, speed, and agility. At first seeking to use his powers for personal gain, Peter would eventually realize that with great power comes great responsibility, donning a mask to protect his loved ones and help others as the Amazing Spider-Man. And also we had a Disney Store exclusive of the Unmasked Spider-Man with an Andrew Garfield head, similar to the now Amazing Spider-Man 2 one, and the Lizard, which apparently nobody liked, and I do not have either. So anyway, back to the figure. Okay, so I got all of Spider-Man's accessories lined up right here, including the base in the background, the figure with the two fists, and he also came with two different hands, including his web shooting hands, which still have the web shooters attached. And they're really nicely painted, really well detailed, and they are the same across, so it doesn't feel like one is like less quality than the other, if that makes any sense. But yeah, they look really good. Really like the design of the gloves they went with it for the movie, and even the suit. I've actually kind of missed it, even after I've seen the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was the definitive Spider-Man suit from the comics. But yet I still like the originality of this one. This looks really awesome. This is not the most movie accurate form of the figure. I think Mafex and Hot Toys have the best looking, but this is just a really good representation of the figure. Really awesomely sculpted and made. I feel like Marvel Select did a great job on it, and they did improve a lot with the articulation, because they were formerly known for just being kind of like posable statues. But still, we'll get to the figure later. Right now I'm just going to take a quick look at the base. Has a lot of great detail. It's basically just like a brick wall with like this those things they used to cover the sun with. Maybe you can use your imagination for what it is. And it has like this vent thing coming out of the window. Really nicely detailed. Has some black shading in between it with gray. Nice color choices. The blue tint of the window. And the bricks are sculpted nicely. Looks like they have some weathering between there. And the pipes look like they've gone through a little bit of damage, with a lot of like ruts going in between. It's a little dusty because I haven't grabbed this in a while, but still really good. If you have a bunch of these, there's no way to connect them, but I'm pretty sure you can probably tape them yourself or something like that. And on the back, it does include a hole where you can plug in some type of thumbnail or thumbtack that you can attach it to the wall and hang your Spidey on there, as I've shown before in my Amazing Spider-Man 2 review. Okay, so Spider-Man himself is really nicely detailed, and in some promotional art, it does look a lot like this figure. But for the most part, in terms of paint, he does have a much darker red than the movie, and the blue is a little bit too light. But in sometimes, like if less shiny light, he looks a lot darker, and does make him look a lot more movie accurate. But either way, he still looks great. The face, you know, very accurate to the face helmet shape that they had for the first movie. I really like how they did the eyes. Not too accurate, but this look pretty good. The eyes are more of a darker orangey yellow with like a honeycomb pattern on the inside, and then the webs just look just like the movie. They're painted, but a big problem that people have with the Spider-Man is that it kind of just misses a lot of the sculpt that they have done over the webbing. So it just kind of looks kind of like atrocious, and depending on what figure you get. On mine, I don't mind, but personally I probably wouldn't mind anyway, because it looks good from far away, probably even close up. And then we get over to the chest. I really like the long spider that they had for the movie. And depending on how you might have your vision or how you might perceive this, you might lose the sight of the spider logo and all the webbing, but I think it's a bit more raised than the rest of the actual suit. Looking down at the rest of the suit, it has a really nice original details that they did for the movie, which I really appreciate. The much different belt that we have here. And my favorite part of the figure is the back of the spider, because it has all these chops going throughout it, and it's like really well painted. Like really exceptional job on the part of Diamond Select, because it's painted over with the red over every single little piece of the spider itself. And I also like these dark black lines that go throughout the suit, including the legs right here, and I think over the arms right here. It looks great. And then we get the red stripe going down the leg, more of that black line, and then we get down to the feet. Very much original looking, not as much as we see in the comics, but still looks great. The only thing that is missing is the silver paint that would go on the back of his shoes, but it does have blue instead of that. And he does have peg holes, so I mentioned you can attach them to the base back there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the figures and detail of paint and sculpt. So for his articulation, his head is on a peg, so it'd go up that much, not that high. I've seen people do customs or suggestions where you make a hole on the back of his neck so it'll look up higher, and it does look down not much. He does have arms that go up that much and they go forward. He does have a bicep swivel. He does have a single jointed elbow. He does have forearm articulation due to the part where you would interchange the hands. He does have a wrist hinge. He does have a diaphragm that goes down that much. Back, kind of just back to normal. It does kind of have a pivot to it and it rotates. There's no waist joint. And he has his unique joints where the hinge is facing forward, so he'll go forward normally, but then you have to rotate it outward to make it go like that. He does have a thigh swivel. He has double jointed knees. He has a calf rotation. He does have ankles to move down, up, and ankle rocker. And overall, I think this guy has better articulation than the most recent Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure, because I really do wish he would have had this much more organic looking diaphragm joints than that one has. I think it works a lot better. I like the boot rotation, but I do like how the newer one has the wrist articulation down here where you would interchange the hands, so you don't have to worry about popping the hands off and possibly breaking the peg. Plus, this guy looks a lot more thinner than the Amazing Spider-Man 2 one, so if I get him out here right now, you can see this new version of him looks a lot more thicker. I'm not sure why, but he is also a bit taller, more big-headed. But overall, just kind of a bigger figure in general. Whichever one you prefer is up to you. And you know, this might as well be the size comparison for the video. So okay, so the Amazing Spider-Man 1 figure stands at 6 3/4 inches tall, while this guy stands at exactly 7 inches tall. Or maybe just like a 7 1/4. He's definitely just a bit taller. Here's Marvel Select standing next to the Walmart exclusive 6-inch Amazing Spider-Man movie figure. And yeah, I think I prefer a lot more the Marvel Select, how it looks. Definitely looks a lot more movie accurate, while this one guy has a lot more accurate colors, like the golden lenses. But yeah, I prefer Marvel Select. Maybe you have this one and you like that one better. It's all up to you. And finally, here he is standing next to the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie figure. So yeah, way much more of a different contrast in costumes. So I would definitely recommend this guy if you already have him in your collection. He's definitely, I think, the second best of the Amazing Spider-Man figures next to Mafex, which I do not have, but I am looking forward to the new Mafex Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie figure. That guy looks to be the #1 Spider-Man so far. And yeah, I think you can still find them in comic book store depending on how people have received it or if they're still there. And I think you can get them on Amazon for around $25. And again, if you're interested, there is an unmasked version, but that one's a bit more pricey since it's a Disney Store exclusive. Anyway, this has been it for today. One last thing, if you want to see this Spider-Man in some kick-butt stop motion action, you can see him face off against Venom and Batman. I'll leave those links in the description below and go check them out if you haven't already. Or if you like them a lot, go ahead and check them out anyway again.